Is your heart's desire to be paid for your speaking? Are you ready to get serious about the business? Want proven marketing tips to help you get started? We know that's true for at least one of us here. Whether you design your own materials or oversee someone creating them for you, this session provides keen insights you can use for all of your marketing. This is a high content how-to presentation where you will learn significant elements meeting planners need in order to hire you. Effective placement of text in layout to grab their attention, and how to balance pertinent information within the design. With over 45 years of marketing, photography, printing, publishing, and graphic design experience, Sheryl has owned 5 graphic award-winning studios. She has written 5 books on the topic of marketing communication, including the Solid Gold Newsletter Design Book, a motherlode of sample designs from clubs and districts around the world. Add to that, over 30 years as a professional speaker, with well over 3,500 on-site programs in 12 countries, and of course, virtual presentations since 2010. Sheryl shares what it will take to be successful in the speaking industry. Both the Los Angeles and San Diego chapters of the National Speakers Association have awarded Sheryl their Member of the Year award, as well as the Golden Microphone. She has presented at CAPS chapters, a member of Toastmasters since 1987. She earned the accredited speaking designation in 1993, when it was based on skills delivered in 6 different styles. A 17-time author, TI sanctioned her to publish the award-winning Heart of a Toastmaster book, showcasing true stories by 135 fellow members from around the globe. With our Market Like a Pro session on how to design speaker one sheets, let's welcome distinguished Toastmaster, accredited speaker, Sheryl Roush.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stan. Well, it's delightful to be back. And thank you, Mark, for the invitation again. I understand that I was your first hybrid speaker back in 2018. So kudos to you and stay strong. So I love listening to all the goals that you have for 2023, and I hope that they come true for you. So let's set the intentions right there. Let me give you a quick view of where we're going with this. You may know Lenora Billings-Harris from the National Speakers Association and from the Global Speakers Federation. When I first met Lenora, this was what her one sheet looked like. She hired me she attended a session that I did at NSA, one of our learning labs. And she said, oh my gosh, I just need to hire you to do it. So this was what she brought me. And at that time, she was about a $5,000 keynote presenter. This is what I did for her. And today she is commanding $20,000 for a presentation. That's a before and after. That's what you can look forward to. And I'll show you how to do this and how to break it down. So if you haven't had a chance yet to download the handout, please do. Mark, if you would please pop it back into the chat there. You are going to want to print this out because after my presentation and you have the 5-minute break, you're going to have a workshop where you can actually dive deep into this. So you definitely want to have the handout there. So download it, and I'll give you a little more heads up here, breaking down into what are the definitions of a one sheet. It goes back to when professional speakers first started presenting. Everything that they did was keynotes on big stages, big audiences. They had these big multicolor, multi-page brochure booklets, almost catalogs at that particular time. Over the decades, and I've been National Speakers Association for 30 plus years, 25 years, 25 and 30, someplace in there. that over these decades then, that because of the ecology, because of trees, just because of the sheer bulk of having these big catalogs, then they've been downsized to what are called one sheets, or often one page or one pager. So that's the basic definition. In our workshop tonight, we'll be taking a look at a few different types of these one sheets because each has a purpose. And I thank my professional colleagues for their permission to showcase their marketing in this presentation. So types of one sheets, let's get started. First, there's the general one sheet that typically has maybe it's keynotes and workshops or all of your topics, or I recommend 5 maximum on a general one sheet. Then it might have on the second page, or if it is a printed copy that you do take to your speaking engagements, there's a golden nugget right there already, is to take them or put them into the handout materials that you do distribute so that all the participants who could get you hired for your next engagements all get a copy of it. Your general one sheet has 6 significant elements on it, including photo of, it's your portrait photo, an action photo, your credibility, what your topics, your titles are, as well as your call to action. So you'll see a couple of examples of those. General one sheet. If you are starting for your very first time with a one sheet, consider starting with a general one sheet, which your handout tonight has a 2-page template for you to follow. So that's what we're using for the guideline. Behind the general one sheet, then you may want to do a topic one sheet where it is very specific and that your biography on that particular one sheet is very specific to that particular topic. Again, you'll see some examples here from my colleagues coming up. A bio sheet is one that primarily promotes the speaker, not the topics. So a bio sheet might be good in a handout if you want people to read about you before your session. It builds your credibility, not necessarily as a solid sales tool like the other 2 here would be. Now, for those of you who have books, you can do a book sheet as well. These are just the 4 basic ones. There's plenty of other times that you may want to do things. Let me show you a few examples of these. This is fellow Toastmaster Rokita Johnson, and it's a one sheet. At the top of it, I would label it as a bio sheet because it's all about her at the top until it goes into the questions right underneath the black subtitle there. If she wanted to modify this into an even more effective one sheet, it would be that those questions are placed closer to the top where you're looking for relevance and helping the meeting planner determine, well, what's in it for us? Help them to confirm it before they go into the rest of the credential for the worksheet. So I would say that this is a one sheet slightly edging toward a bio. So what I want to do is to give you an idea of looking through my graphic design eyes of this is how I look at things so that when you are creating yours, whether you are working with someone else, maybe a branding expert, maybe you have a coach, another graphic designer that you're working with, or if you are doing this yourself in Canva, iPages, any Adobe Suite program, whatever it is that you're using, even Word, and I've seen some incredible PowerPoints used for one sheets, including one by Lance Miller. His one sheet was designed in PowerPoint. I thought it was very creative. So then what are the bullet points? And then the signature presentations are down at the bottom, which this, again, the meeting planner is looking for, why should I hire you? Are you a match? Does your topic, your credibility, your ability to solve my problems match? Because when we answer those questions, they will not have sticker shock because we've already determined what the value is. So the one sheet will be the first marketing tool that we create. Maybe, maybe not. It could start with your website instead, or even on your LinkedIn profile. But we need to back it up a little bit and have the clarity of what exactly goes out to the general public to get us hired. Down at the bottom at Rokita's, you'll also see that there's a call to action. Any type of one sheet that you do, any type of marketing, please remember to have a call to action. Make sure that the phone number is correct. Make sure everything is spelled correctly, because those little typos, yeah, Murphy just kind of pops in there. All right, so Freddie, thank you very much for this. Sister accredited speaker here. This is her keynote topic one sheet. Not all the monkeys are in the zoo. This gives, again, the questions are up at the top. Then she gives what are the benefits, what is your audience going to be experiencing, and it's a high energy and fun presentation. If you know Freddie, you know it's true. And then she also gives what's the duration for that particular type of presentation, and then permissions as well. And then her logos for the associations down at the bottom, including CAPS. And then we have, I believe it's the International Federation of Global Speaking, plus Toastmasters and a couple of others. Sorry, Freddie, they're really small on my screen here tonight. And then again, a call to action. She also graciously is sharing with us a seminar topic one sheet. So this is very specific to a seminar or a workshop, very specific to it. Now, notice between the two of these, the branding is consistent. Anything in your marketing, it needs to look like everything matches, from the top of the banner, anything across, even using the different types of photos that you're using, make sure that people can recognize you from them. And Freddie has also created a logo for her name, which ties in everything across the board. This is a general bio sheet. And so there's two of these, and thank you very much for these, Freddie, because then she looks so approachable. You just want to pull up a cup of coffee and sit down and have a chat with her, and maybe a coffee crisp. Okay. All right. And then here's a bio sheet specifically for workshops. So now it's leaning toward her contact information, her professional memberships. All of those are really important, as you'll see also in the template that I've provided for you. And then it gives more credibility regarding the workshops that she's doing. She's bullet pointed them here, and she could put all of these and more workshop topic sheets into an EPK, an electronic press kit that could be downloaded from your website, which is a low resolution or a low size of PDF file that people could then download, because they want to take information about you into their committee meetings or be able to forward it. This is our 89th accredited speaker, Forrest Tuff. His bio sheet, his really strong background for business startup and leadership. He's one of the top speakers for SCORE, by the way, paid speaker for SCORE. So not all SCORE chapters have a budget to pay, but he is very well established, lots of media on there. So again, this is a bio sheet. Now he could follow this up with topic sheets on each of those topics in either printed form or an electronic press kit. I'll show you a couple of examples of my own. So here's the general two-sided one sheet. And one of my speaker bureaus actually helped me with what are some of the real problems that I do solve for organizations? And I'm very grateful to them for brainstorming with me. So my main question is, and it's loaded on the left-hand side, are low morale, poor communication, and high stress. So those are the challenges, the problems. And what are they affecting? Service, productivity, and profits. So then my tendency, just like tonight's introduction, it's the same thing to speak and market like a pro. They have a parallel here where when asking a question that names the problem, then your readers immediately connect with, yes, this is relevant to us. We need this for our association. And then you follow it with what presentations. So this is a general one sheet. There are 5 of my presentations with different, very short descriptions, if you will, under each one of those. Then down at the bottom, it has that they are tailored. Everything that I do is highly tailored for the client, the audience, the objectives. And then how would it be available? And then the call to action down at the bottom. So there you see an action photo as well with credibility of the logos for organizations. And on the right is the backside of this particular one sheet. Clients you do want to list, And if you are getting started and do not have clients who have paid you, then they cannot really be called clients. Instead, refer to them as audiences. So audiences include, now you've kept your integrity on this. On this particular one sheet, I put a virtual, you'll see there's my palm tree right there. Then people want to see what would it look like to have you present for them. So I did a virtual shot right off of Zoom and put it onto the backside of this one. The clients then are in alphabetical order. So again, a general one sheet. And why those audiences are important is that, again, the meeting planners are looking for a match. Have you spoken to an audience similar to theirs? Do you understand their problems, their challenges? Can you help solve them? So this one I did a very audience specific backer relevant to the clients who would be attending in that particular audience. Always do your homework. Find out who is going to be attending, especially at association events. So then I put them in categories that particular association serves, and in alphabetical order. So facilities management, financial, government, et cetera. And then under each category, they are also in alphabetical order. This helps meeting planners and anyone who's OCD like me, OMG, it's true. Things need to make sense. They need to be logical. I need things to be in order. Well, I find that meeting planners want to quickly skim. It's like, okay, have you spoken to HR associations? Okay, yes. What about insurance? Okay, yes. What about, and if this was for a Canadian organization, as an example, then I would really bring forward the Canadian clients that I've presented to and list them. And then more bio information down at the bottom. So that gives you an idea. Now, you could also be geographic location. So for instance, I relocated to New York in the country from San Diego just a couple of years ago. I would often speak for Los Angeles. It is the largest county in the country of the US. The budget alone for the county of Los Angeles is larger than most of the collected states in the New England area of the US. That's amazing. And I've spoken to their major agencies. So when I presented for a county admin association agency meeting, then this was the back. Are you getting some ideas? Kind of put some thumbs up there in your gallery. Okay. Kind of, yep, getting some ideas. Again, meeting planners are looking for a match. Give them anything that they need to understand that, yes, you are the match. All right, so let's dive into that handout. Okay, this part 2, I'm going to get you started on page 2 with these questionnaire areas. And by now you've probably printed it out. I do hope so there, and that you're able to start making some notes on it. And I've broken this page into 2 slides so that we can really take a closer look at each one of these. If you do not yet have a main topic on which you speak, it might be that you start making a list of, what do you love to speak about? What could you be a subject matter expert on? If you were hired to give a presentation next month, what might that topic be that you could charge for? A main topic, which means that, communication, leadership. It may be a topic area, not specifically a presentation title. It might, if you have been speaking and you do have certain presentation titles and subtitles, which, by the way, according to MPI, Meeting Professionals International, how-to is the #1 selling headline or subtitle for a presentation. There it is in the headline, how to design, because it implies relevance to that particular group or that meeting planner, the decision maker who's going to hire you. So from that then, and it could be that if you're getting started, you could put 2 or 3 bullet points up in that area to get started, maybe probably no more than 5, because you're going to want to whittle it down to what are your top 3, maybe even top 1. As an example for this, you might use this worksheet if you have 3 main topic areas. is to print out page 2, 3 copies of it so that you can do this worksheet for each of those topics. Good idea? Yeah, because then you've got to have the clarity. This is where it all begins. Before you can do a one sheet, before you can do the website or the LinkedIn, all of everything that you're going to be doing, you have to get the clarity. What's your foundation? What is it that you bring to the world, to the corporate arena, to the community for the transformation or giving a sense of hope or helping people do different things? You have to get the clarity around it so that people then know how to hire you. With that one main topic, then, let's say communication, then what are their pains that you can solve with this particular topic or presentation? So what are their key problems, their issues, or their challenges? And it could be that people that you've spoken to say, oh my gosh, I just wish we had better interpersonal communications around here, or team building, or I wish that leadership would more effectively communicate with the rest of us. It's not a need to know basis. It's that we're all moving together in the same direction moving forward. So what are their pains? And just pay attention, because people will tell you what it is that they need, and then start writing it down. Again, on this same topic, then, what are the benefits to the audience that would be attending your presentation, whether it be virtual, live, or blended, as a result of having attended this presentation? What are their takeaways? Our meeting planners, decision makers are looking for the ROI. It's true, the return on the investment. So what are some of the benefits from that? Then as you work through this portion, then it continues with, then think through what format would be available for you to give this particular topic or presentation. As you saw on some of Freddie's topic sheets, she said 45 to 60 minutes. How long of a presentation could you give on that? Is it something that you're formulating for a TEDx? 16 to 18 minutes, probably that 17 minutes on the big dot. What type of format? Is it virtual? Is it only on site? So again, what types of formats? Format could also be, is it a keynote? Is it a workshop? What else is it? What else is it? So what type of format would you be able to present that in? This could be more than one, and you would be hired more frequently if it were more than one format. Who are your ideal audiences for this particular presentation? This is where you start becoming the matchmaker on this. Based on your particular topic, who needs it? So again, do one of these pages, a worksheet, if you will, for each of those topics. And I encourage you to take this into the workshop after my presentation today. All right, so here's what I'd love for you to do now that you're thinking. And if you feel comfortable doing it, if not, I completely understand. Give it a go. Give it a go, because this is workshop and I do want to give you feedback here. So please put your name, what you believe your subject matter expertise to be, and your main topic area. All right, so I'm going to be looking at the chat here. Go ahead and light it up. All right, so Brittany, thanks. Is our main topic area supposed to be our title? Not necessarily. They can be different. Your subject matter expertise could be, so for instance, I'm an expert in 360-degree communication in public, in print, online, and live in front of people. That's everything that I've always done is communications related. So that's my subject matter area expertise. My titles might be speak like a pro, speak and market like a pro, market like a pro. So 7 secrets to connect with anyone. All of those become my titles in the presentations. So your main topic area could be, what's your umbrella? What's the umbrella? Communication, leadership, mental well-being. What's the umbrella of it? We need to have the clarity at the beginning of this, or we get lost and we put too many things into one particular marketing piece. So we've got to have that clarity. Good, good, good. You're on a roll. Now, when we start doing this, we start fleshing it out. And I recommend that you, when you get a chance, type what you're thinking into a Word document. That way it'll help you correct. You can start organizing things, but flush it out of your head first. Tap into the right brain and get it on a piece of paper where you do like a mind mapping and you take your subject area and you just kind of do a web all the way around it. Tony Buzan, who was one of our Golden Gavel Award recipients for Toastmasters International, is the mind mapping. He's the father of that entire process. And it taps into the right brain to get things out of your brain before you go into editing mode from the left brain. So get it out. After you do that and you start playing with your copy, maybe bring it to the club and bounce it off your fellow members here for getting more feedback in what really sounds copacetic and what would be good marketing copy. So here I've included for you in your handout, and this has taken me 35 years to develop, of what goes where and why. One of the questions when I asked Mark, what are some of the challenges that you might be looking at regarding designing your one sheet? He said, well, how do we balance text and images, and how do we know if we put too much stuff on it? Okay, well, first of all, you want to start getting rid of boxes around things. The purpose of this page and the next, I've given outlines that would indicate, first of all, this one out here, this is the piece of paper itself. So that's the handout. Then this could be the paper that you are going to be designing within, 8.5 by 11. The headlines, so these are copy block areas to give you an idea of where that text might go. Do not include all the copy boxes with frames on them. So I would say no boxes around anything except maybe your photo, and especially if there's a light background behind it, then put a frame around it, but definitely not around all the text. One of the things, to answer Mark's question, is how do you create balance? You need white space. White space means absence of text. Now, it could be a color, like with Lenora Billings Harris, the one sheet that I designed, that it had like an ivory background and it made her marbles pop on it. By the way, that the whole concept, the branding, I was the one that branded with the marbles for her, because she, being an expert in multicultural diversity, that's what we called it when we designed her one sheet, she would use marbles inside of her presentation to explain the process of diversity and how no two are alike. And the marble theme stayed with her through her presidency of the National Speakers Association, as well as in her current marketing too. So you might have something that exemplifies what it is that you do. You might. For instance, Blaine, you have the herd. There might be something creative there, yet sometimes we need to pull back and go, wait, that might be too cute. Is it going to get us hired or not? Now, if you're a comedian, if you do a lot of humor, if you're Santa, Stan, and you can get away with it, then yes, definitely you need to live up to that particular persona and in your branding and in your marketing. Otherwise, what goes where and why taps into the 3 stages of how we need to communicate with people. And this has been proven. Let's see, the original research by the American Library Association, as well as Confessions of an Advertising Man, David Ogilvy, in his book, Confessions of an Advertising Man. And so the headline, I would start off with 1 or 3 questions that name the pain, that you hand it right back to them. Whatever you have determined to be their pain, hand it back to them in the form of questions. Stage 1 is relevance. We have 1 to 7 seconds to establish that, yes, this is relevant for them, or they move on to the next speaker one sheets. And it's that fast. Then stage 2 is confirmation. Now the meeting planner is skimming through looking for the match. That's why they want to see your photo, preferably something current and enticing, I would say with a smile. They want to imagine what would it be like to have you in front of their audience. Then you take the information from the worksheet that you did and you start putting in the presentations. I would say 3 especially, and it could even be, if you have one for now, just do one and write more text that goes along with it. And if you're just getting started too, you can do just page 3 for a 1-page, one-sided one sheet, and you'd be fine. As you develop more into your speaking career, then you'll be able to do the second side. If you're doing just one, this is perfect to follow for it. Your portrait photo, your speaker name, maybe your title or your subject matter expertise, your biography. And I would put that into, as Freddie's great example of, is in paragraph form. You want to be very conversational. You're speaking to the meeting planner, building up your credibility. And if you're doing a topic one sheet, that biography must be targeted to that topic, period. If you're talking about apples, don't talk about bananas. You need to only talk about apples in that particular apple workshop, apple sauce, whatever that it might be. All right. So then you definitely need to have your call to action, which is stage 3. So stage 2, confirmation, that's up to 90 seconds is what your meeting planner is skimming to look at. Again, looking for the relevance. This is especially true for print media. The call to action, the meeting planner, it's going to be as long as needed because they're going to go back through and see if they missed anything. And then they may even click over to your website, take a look at your LinkedIn profile. What are you doing on Instagram? Again, so that's a good topic there. And so they're looking for the match. On the flip side, if it's a printed 2-sided one sheet, if it's only one, then you can have some of the testimonials, say that you have 1 or 2 topics, then have 1 or 2, maybe 3 testimonials from people who have preferably paid you to speak, because now they're really invested in it. If not, then members of the audience, then you can list them. The partial client list, now keep in mind, if they're not paid clients, then you can refer to them as audiences include, or audiences include, and organized in some type of manner. Alphabetical is a great place to get started. As your client list grows, then chunked by industry, and then alphabetical within those industries as well. Page 2, the flip side, definitely still needs to have a call to action. And then now I would put an action photo on the back. Or if yours is for virtual presentations, like what I've been doing, is to have my on-site photo on the front and then a different action or a Zoom photo, something that you use for your virtual presentations. So, all right, let me show you some examples of this. This is one of our Australian Toastmasters, and she attended a workshop that I do. So Maria created this in Word using the template. Notice that it doesn't have a whole bunch of boxes. She has only the credibility box, and it's in a reversed color, so it does pop. Everything is crystal clear on the right, what her presentations include. It has all of the elements that she needed. This was her first one sheet ever, following the template that you now have. So really well done. Here's one of our colleagues, Greg Wood. Matter of fact, he is a co-chair for the Accredited Speaker Council, also out of Canada, Winnipeg. And let's see. So here's his question up at the top. Do you know the secret to improving? Okay. And then here he's used themed text. So he's talking magic and leadership. That's his thing. So tying in words that go with what you're talking about creates a sense of congruence and a little bit of entertainment factor. Magically grow your leadership so you can levitate your staff and make problems vanish as if before your eyes. Anyway, this piece of paper does not do him justice. He is absolutely fantastic. So this is the front side using the template. And here's the reverse side, also using the template. Following all the key elements. It doesn't have too much stuff on it. It looks very well organized. There's good use of white space, which creates balance. And Greg's one sheet could be quickly printed out by the meeting planner or their assistant and brought to the meeting where one sheets often float around tables and the people are looking at them. So it doesn't have too much color that the meeting planner would say, oh, we're not printing that out. If it's got solid, heavy colors, it's only going to be transferred electronically, and you might lose some potential gigs if it's too dark. Okay. All right. So there's a couple of resources for you in the last page of the handout, and I'll introduce you to a couple of things, but mostly please consider checking out the Toastmasters International Accredited Speaker Program, and you may already be eligible to apply. Check it out. Download the Accredited Speaker Handbook, because you might surprise yourself. And as you're setting goals, as our Toastmasters started off this meeting with, what are your goals for 2023 as it relates to your speaking business, you can use it as a guideline, as a benchmark. The form that's included in the handbook, that's what I originally started doing to keep track of the presentations that I gave. Who was the client? Who was the contact? How many people? What was the topic? What was the fee? That's how I know I have over 3,500 presentations. It's in a spreadsheet. And back then, before I knew how to use spreadsheets, I was using an accounting ledger, and I kept track of all of that. So when it came time for me to bring that information into the speaking engagement form in the handbook, I was ready. So 25 outside presentations, 20 minutes or longer, 20 people or more, and different topics, different clients, all of that. There's more eligibility on that. So here's what we've looked at in a very fast session. We've looked at what are one sheets, how do we use them, why are they important to get us hired, referred, and paid, and brought back again. We now understand what goes where and why, because we need to give things to the meeting planners in the order of relevance, confirmation, and action. The worksheet, the templates that you have now are user-friendly, where you can set up whatever type of program it is that you're using and start putting things into those blocks. I can tell you that your marketing materials will always evolve. So don't print 500 copies of something. Maybe start off with 50 and say for your next presentation where you're going to be out live in person, make sure that every person in the audience gets a copy of your handout. Keep making changes. Every time you have a new audience or a new paying client or great testimonials, continue to update all of your marketing materials, because everything that we do today, and our audiences definitely need us, they count on us. We need to be there for them. And whatever our topic is, I tell you, people need a sense of hope. So let's be those bearers of light. Let's bring light to the planet where there is darkness, regardless of our topics. Bring your passion, bring your heart to everything that you do. It's been my privilege to serve you tonight. Go pro, speakers.